onion crackers. These are another one of my favourite crackers. They're so flavoursome. They're salty with the tamari, they're dense with the nuts, the almond meal, and the onion gives them a beautiful flavour. Now you can choose red or brown onions. Just go for an onion that's not too strong. I'm going to start with 1 cup of flax seeds or linseeds. But I'm just going to save a little bit to grind up, because it's not just about eating good food, it's about allowing the body to absorb the nutrients from the food. So I've got my little spice grinder here. I just use it when I'm wanting to blend a small amount. Done. And then I'm going to soak this with a little bit of water, just enough to cover. It's turned off. So any of you mums at home saying, no, she's putting her finger in there. No, it's turned off. It's okay. All right, let's cover that with some water. And we'll just leave that to the side. I might have put a little bit too much water there. Ideally, just enough to cover it, but that's fine. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is chop my onions or grate the onions. I'm going to chop them because I don't want to be crying here. You'll need 3 onions. Once again, I've purposely chosen onions that aren't all the same size. This is too small. This is too big. Put them together. That's about 2 regular sized onions. So use what you have. Don't always leave the misshapen fruits and vegetables on the shelf. They might be the most tasty ones. Just like people, right? You can't judge a book by its cover. I don't want them to become like an onion puree, but I also don't want big chunks of onion in there because that's not so delicious. And when there's big chunks in the mix, when you cut it or when it dehydrates, if that piece falls apart, you'll be left with a hole in the cracker, if that makes sense. Sticky onion. So just give that a little pulse to this. Ooh. Enough. Oh yeah, that was much better than sitting there chopping it, right? That was just so quick. Now this recipe would be perfect to use up the pulp left over from your almond milk, but I didn't have any more. So it doesn't mean, oh no, I can't make the recipe. I just soaked some nuts and I'm going to throw them in. Because I don't want that onion any more chopped, I'm going to just remove that. 1 cup of almonds or almond pulp. I'm such a messy cook that I like to have cooking days. So if I'm making crackers, I'll make them up in bulk. If I'm making almond milk, I'll make lots of it. Then I've got less washing up. So you just saw me spill the tamari all over the bench, so I might as well add that now. 1/3 of a cup, that's adding salt. And it's also going to help draw the moisture out of the vegetables, so then that can combine with the flaxseed. So a little tip, if you make these and you find that it's taking too long to dry, add less water, or to start with, don't throw in too much water. Trying to get it so you can see, I'm just not left-handed. Well, I should be. They say that you should brush your teeth with the opposite hand each morning. So if you're right-handed, have a go of brushing it with the left to recruit new neurons, to strengthen neural pathways, and that kind of stuff stops you from getting prematurely old. Then we're just mixing that up. So I've got the onion and the tamari for flavour. Now tamari is just like a wheat-free, gluten-free version of soy sauce. If you don't want to get that, go and get soy sauce. It's just a little bit cheaper. But it does contain wheat. All right, so once again, looking for that cake-like batter. And that's pretty much it. We don't need to add salt because the tamari or soy acts like the salt. We've got the flax seeds to bind it, onion for the flavour, and again, this is just another really simple cracker. Grab your baking trays or your dehydrator trays, some baking paper, or you can use one of these Teflex non-stick sheets. You don't want it to stick to your tray. Now, another thing you could do, optional, is add a little bit of olive oil for flavour. So fat's not the enemy. It's a good chance to include more good fats in the diet, which contributes to that feeling of satiation. You eat fats, you're not hungry 5 minutes later. So fats are a slow release macronutrient. Fats carry the flavour. And did you know vitamins A, D, E and K are fat soluble? So without fat in the diet, you're not able to absorb, these really essential vitamins. So I'm just going to halve the mix. Halve the mix, I should say, not half. And spread it out. Cake batter texture. Spread it evenly. Use your rolling pin if you like. This one's a little bit more runny because you've got the tamari and the onion. Onions are really high in water content. So that means it's easier to spread. The drier the mix, the quicker it'll take to dehydrate, but it's a little bit more difficult to work with. But I tell you, if you're wondering whether or not you should get a dehydrator, whether it's the right thing for you, I recommend you take my approach. So what I did at first, for years, I just didn't use one. I used the oven. I put the stuff in the oven, put it on its lowest temperature, put it on 50 degrees or like 117 111 degrees Fahrenheit, and used that for a few years. And then finally it came to the point, which was only just last year, I'm like, you know what, I deserve a dehydrator. I would make good use out of it. You know, I'm a raw food chef, why not? But I'm aware that this is also a passing fad, so I bought secondhand. Now, dehydrator is the kind of thing that many people will buy. It seems like a good idea at the time and not use. You're not going to be one of those people, I know. But find one of those people who have bought a dehydrator and no longer use it and get it secondhand. You'll get it for a good price. So I picked up a 9-tray Excalibur. I'm pretty sure it was less than what you would pay for half price. But prove yourself first. Prove yourself that you're actually going to use it, that you actually do make crackers. Please don't be limited and think, I want to make those crackers, but I don't have a dehydrator, so I can't make it. That's not true. Okay, you can make this. Look at those beautiful colours. So because I've used a mixture of the brown onion or the white onion and the red, we're going to have those nice little flecks in there. I actually don't normally use the red onion. I like it. Beautiful. Done. Now I'm just going to score it. 10 out of 10. Not that kind of scoring. I mean, just with my knife. So I know I have a corny sense of humour, but I think the world needs more opportunities to laugh. Well, I do anyway. Okay, that's ready to go in the oven. Or my dehydrator. Thank you. I might just grab this one. It's got kind of a blunt end, so I'm not going to cut into my sheet. Just in case you're wondering what this is, no, this is not a cracker cutter. It's just to lift cakes up. We'll just have it. All right, let's go and put these in the dehydrator to dry for a few hours. Or remember, you can put it in your oven, chock the door open with a wooden spoon, and keep it on a low temperature. I love it every time I go to the dehydrator or the oven because it's like a surprise. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had this in here. Here's some I prepared earlier, and it's good to have a few on the go because they're probably going to be eaten in one meal time, and then the next day you can resort to your fresh batch. Yum, these smell so good. Oh wow, they're the ones that we just made this morning. They look like they're almost done. I might even flip them in a minute. Okay. So these ones I made earlier, and I'm just going to flip them. They've already been flipped once, and so notice how I've taken them off the sheet. I didn't need them. If you're doing them in the oven, keep them on the baking paper. It's just easier. So I'm not flipping it to dry now. It's already dry. I'm flipping it to show you. So these are the onion crackers. Notice their dark colour because of the tamari and the onions. Beautiful. So exciting. I love it when it looks like this. It's turning out. Ooh. Okay, actually have a look at this. You can see, here's a big bit of onion. Here's where the mix is thin. And so it's kind of broken up, not where I've cut it. Here I made it thicker in the edges, and so it's good. But the good thing about those bits is I get to have a little try. Okay. This is the best one yet. You have to go and make this. And also, I don't mind it sometimes when they're a little bit rough. And then you can scatter them on a platter. Scatter on the platter with some dips, some vegetables. And then suddenly eating carrots and celery sticks is delicious and desirable. So people, when they go, oh, you eat raw food, what does that mean? All you eat is carrot and celery all day long? No. Here are some of the things that you can eat. and you make delicious dips and have crackers, and it makes them more exciting. Obviously, everything's best when it's served fresh. But if you have leftovers, keep it in the freezer. So I like to make things in bulk. I can be messy in the kitchen less often. And then when I'm in a hurry, I come home from a busy day at work, I'm hungry, or come back from teaching a yoga class, I want something immediately. Often the reason people eat bad food is because of time. It takes time to prepare a salad, whereas opening a packet of chips, eating a bowl of breakfast cereal, it's instantaneous. But you have this kind of thing handy, it's quick.